everybody. Do you hear me well? Good. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. After this great presentation on geopolitics, now we're going to move to energy. So I really want to, we are at the World Policy Conference. Please, we will try to speak about energy, but to make the link with geopolitics. That's always interesting. I'm not going to be too long. We are going to start with a representative of Total. So you say who you are in one sentence, and then you move on. I'm going to be very strict with the time allocated for each panelist. The idea is really to have 7, maximum 8 minutes per person, and then we move on to the discussion. The idea is to have a lively discussion with all respect to each other, and we're not here to find solutions, but the idea behind all what we are doing is what kind of energy mix do we want to have in the future, and according to all different backgrounds that we have. So we move on. Please, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I will present quickly, as asked, the strategy of TotalEnergies. Maybe most of you know it. We're celebrating this year 100 years. It's an anniversary, 100 years. And what is the characteristic of our 100 years is what we call the pioneer spirit, the ability to innovate, and the capacity to adapt to the context of the changing world. That means that our strategy today is adapting to the energy transition with a multi-energy strategy. What is the multi-energy strategy? 2 pillars, oil and gas on one hand, and integrated power, which is electricity, on the other hand. Why? Because some people wonder why we don't stop gas and oil right now. Others are wondering why we keep on producing oil and gas and electricity on the electron at the same time. So I'm going to try to explain why we're doing this strategy of multi-energy. Why oil? You all know that energy transition cannot be done overnight. Demand is keeping on growing. The peak of the demand, we don't know when it's going to be, probably between 2030 and 2040. You know all of the depletion fields of 4%. In addition, we're going to have a rise of energy consumption. Today, 4.5 billion people don't have proper access to energy. By 2050, the world population is projected to be around 9.7 billion. So the demand is here. We have to answer the demand. But at the same time, we have also to do it with the lowest carbon intensity. And that's our strategy. That's what we're trying to do. Before, we used to have something like 70, 80, 40, 60 kilograms of CO2 per barrel. Now, we're about 18 kilograms, and we're going to 13 kilograms of CO2 per barrel. So the carbon intensity is going lower and lower. That's a priority. This is for oil, basically in a nutshell. For gas, we believe strongly that the gas, and we're probably going to talk about it longer, the gas is the energy of the transition. We need gas for many reasons. First, as you know, it emits 2 times less greenhouse green gases than coal for the same amount of electricity produced. It has a key role to play in Asia, where coal still accounts for most of the electric mix in many countries. 63% in China, 72% in India. We have estimated more or less roughly that our LNG sales helped avoid approximately 70 million tons of CO2 emissions globally into 2023. It is also the most mature and cheapest energy source currently available to compensate the intermittency of renewables. Therefore, it is very important to have a firm power in the energy system of tomorrow. And it is also, and you know it better than I do, LNG is also a way to assure energy security because it can go everywhere in the world. This is the reason why gas represents more than 20% of our investment, mainly in LNG. But at the same time, we need a very strong mobilization against methane emissions. And that's where we are also very mobilized. The reducing methane emissions in the short term is the faster way to prevent the most severe impact of climate change. That is why we pledge to reduce our methane emission for our operated activities by 50% for 2025 and 80% for 2030 compared to 2020 emissions. To do it, we need to detect and evaluate and measure the leaks with very, very precise tools. One of them is OSEA, a drone program that allows us to detect and measure CH4 and CO2 emission at our sites and repair leaks when we discover some. And we have also to work collectively with other companies to fight against methane leaks. We committed now with more than 50 oil and gas companies to reduce our methane production to close to zero and eliminate flaring for our operation by 2030. We're 55 companies engaged in this pledge, representing 45% of global production. And we are one of the three champions with ADNOC and Aramco working on the decarbonization charter. Oil, gas, and electricity, the second pillar. For us, electricity is the energy of the future because it is the energy of decarbonization. We saw it clearly in the mobility sector, but it is going to be the energy of the future. We have demographic growth. We saw that with this demographic growth, with this global south wanting to, aspiring for a better standard of living, we know that 700 million people live without access to electricity. So those people are going to need more and more electricity. At the same time, we have also a need of electricity coming with all the development of data center, digitalization, artificial intelligence. and other process. So we will definitely need more and more electricity. So that's why we're investing a lot in clean electricity based with renewable. And we are covering the entire electricity value chain from production to distribution, so we can manage the intermittency of renewable to provide firm, clean, and low-cost energy for our customers. And we have demonstrated that it's a viable economic model for low-carbon energies. In 2023, we achieved 10% profitability in our electricity activities. I'm saying that because profitability is very, very important if we want companies to invest in renewables and in this new electricity, low-carbon electricity. Our target is 35 gigawatts in 2025 and 100 gigawatt in 2030. And we invest more or less around $5 billion in this low-carbon renewable and low-carbon energy. In conclusion, we changed our name in 2021. We now are TotalEnergies, but even though people are always saying Total instead of TotalEnergies, because we believe that the energy transition needs a multi-energy strategy. And I don't want to be any longer. I'm ready to answer any questions, if there is any, and I give you back the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. One question to you. You said that gas is a transitional fuel or fuel of transition. What does it concretely mean, and how do you deal with this wording at the international level?
This the wording you mean?
Yes, gas as a transitional fuel. What does it mean, and how long, and you know, the storytelling behind this word?
Transitioning fuel, why? Because it is the best way so far to stop the intermittency of the renewable. So it is needed for the intermittency. Battery storage and things like that are not really, really mature, and so we need gas for this. Transition also because if we switch from coal to gas, we will, like I said, we will divide by 2 the emission of CO2 if we also fight against methane leaks. So that's why it is the energy of the transition. As long as we don't have another system of storage for storage the energy, it looks like with the intermittency we have no other solution.
And the transition, how do you see this transition?
How many years you mean?
Yeah, how long? It's a journey. Because
yes.
That's part of the, at the COP we always discuss these issues.
Yes, that's right.
We are talking now about transitional fuels, but what does it mean concretely?
I think it is not only depending on one company or one country. That's the point. Transitioning, you need to have everyone on board. And so far, we can see at all the COPs 29, the COPs 28, we don't have a feeling that everybody is united on the trajectory, on the aims, on the objectives. I think we have Global South with priorities that are different from net zero countries and I would say Global North. They don't have the same priorities, and at the same time we are sharing the same planet. So we're going to have to get along. So answering how long and how far and so for how many years we're going to need gas is a very difficult question.
Thank you, sir.